Hi, today we are going to talk about lesson 15 about food chains. And I think you're going to like this lesson. Okay, so a food chain, when we're talking about chain in Spanish, that's cadena. It's like one thing linked to another. So when we're talking about a food chain, what we're talking about it's a chain that shows the different links along which food is passed from one organism to another. So we can see one organism ate another organism, and we see how the energy is moving from one of them. Just like the picture, right? So you have a plant, a rabbit ate a plant, a snake ate a rabbit. Um, then you can have something like a bear ate the snake, and then a lion ate the bear. Just an example, but you get the idea. And it all starts with green plants, plants that make their own food from mineral, from water, from carbon dioxide, and sunlight. So they make photosynthesis. And photosynthesis, it's really, really, really important for the beginning of food chains. So if we don't have plants, all the food chain just falls. If we are talking, for example, of an aquatic food chain, one that is happening in water, it usually starts with algae. You know that algae are those plants that are in rivers, in the ocean, okay? And they do photosynthesis. Okay, so it starts really small, like algae, protozoa, then small crustaceans, then small fish. And then those small fish get eaten by larger fish. And then those larger fish get eaten by some type of whale, for example. So you can show this food chain in this way. Algae gets eaten by protozoa or crustaceans. Then protozoa gets eaten by small fish. Small fish gets eaten by larger fish. And then larger fish is eaten by a type of whale. So each part, it's a link of the chain, okay? And when a link is removed, when you take away one link, then the rest of the chain is gonna be disrupted. So this is why it's dangerous to hunt like many animals of one type, or when a species is endangered, different food chains start stopping, and that's a problem. Okay. If we're talking of terrestrial food chains that happens on land, you can have an example like this. Green plants, for example, corn, gets eaten by mice. Then a snake eats the mice. Then a hawk, un águila, eats both mice and snakes. And then eventually that hawk is gonna get old, it's gonna die, and bacteria and fungi that live on the organisms are gonna eat it until they return all of the materials, all of the chemicals back to the land. And here in the picture, I have another example with crickets and birds and snakes and owls. Okay, so when we're talking about food chain, three words are always going to come up: producers, consumers, and decomposers. Okay, we're gonna talk about the producers a little bit. They are the first link in the chain, okay? All green plants are producers, so they do their own food. They are green because they have chlorophyll, they make their own food, and they serve as food for something else. They are called producers because they produce food for other living things. Remember that I told you that everything starts with producers. And then we have consumers. Consumers are called like this because they consume food. They don't make food for themselves. They have to eat it from somewhere else. And they are organisms that feed on other organisms. We have first order consumers that are plant eaters, and they get food directly from the producers. They are called herbivores, you know it, they eat plants. And then we have second order consumers. These are sharp-toothed consumers that eat first order consumers. So they are called carnivores. As you know, carnivores eat meat. They eat the herbivores. And then we have third order consumers. They eat sometimes second order consumers and other times first order consumers. So these are carnivores that eat carnivores and herbivores. So usually these are predators. These are the ones that eat many types of animals, and they're usually at the top of the food chain. Okay, and then we have omnivores. Omnivores are animals that eat both plants and animals. Okay, and here I have some pictures. For example, a koala. A koala is a herbivore. That would be a first order consumer. And then on second order consumers, we have, and third order consumers, we have carnivores. And here I have a bear, which is an omnivore. He eats meat, but also plants. And then we have a lion that eats meat. And then we have the decomposer. Decomposers are my favorite. They're really cool because they recycle, okay? Decomposers are things like worms, mushrooms or fungi, insects, and bacteria. Some of them you can see, like for example, mushrooms or worms, or depending on the insect, but then bacteria, it's invisible to the eye. They are decomposers, and what they do is they break down all of the waste, all of the dead organisms of both producers and consumers. If you have seen really carefully, in nature, of course, animals die, plants die, but they don't stay there forever. They kind of like disappear, right? What happens is that they decay and they rot thanks to the decomposers, and then they break down, and all of the chemicals that they had in their bodies or in that plant are cycled back into the environment to be used again by who? By a producer. So imagine that there's a mouse. A mouse dies. It lays on the ground and it starts rotting, decomposing, thanks to the decomposers. And then all of the chemicals in the mouse are gonna go back to the ground as nutrients. And then when a plant grows again in the same place where that mouse died, then it's gonna use all of these nutrients to grow. So it's a cycle, okay? So that will be it for today.